What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Shakur Stevenson, Vasily Lomachenko, Devin Haney. Get this. According to Shakur Stevenson makes a bold prediction. He says, quote, he smokes him. He says, quote, I think Devin is too big for Lomachenko. I think he's going to smoke him. I'm ready to fight whoever wins, though. And those are the words of Shakur Stevenson. Let me counterpunch. Here's the question with this fight. Okay, I haven't done the prediction, but just looking at these two fighters, Lomachenko being Lomachenko, Devin Haney being Devin Haney, size does go to Haney, but then you got a lot of guys that Loma fought, like Pedraza, Luke Campbell, guys like that, even Linares, you know what I mean? Like, those guys were bigger than Lomachenko. So it's not like Lomachenko is accustomed to being in there with guys, bigger than him. He's been in there with those guys. He's coming from featherweight, for Christ's sake. So I don't think that would really be a factor. I think the factor is not the size. The factor is the age. I heard someone say, oh, well, yeah, what, Loma's not in his prime? What do you mean? Come on, please. Don't use that as an excuse. No, it's not an excuse at all, but it is a factor. You look at when he fought the Japanese fighter, I can't remember his name right now, he looked pretty good. Okay, and that same Japanese fighter gave Teofimo Lopez fits, and he took him out with ease. And then you look at that fight, and you look at then the fight he had with, I think it was Jermaine Ortiz. He didn't look at the same. Neither did he look the same with Comey, right? Richard Comey, I think his name is. He looked okay, but he didn't look the same. Jermaine Ortiz, he looked even worse than that. So, yeah, I'm looking at a pattern of a guy that his performances are on a decline. You know what I mean? And that's not due to me looking for anything. I'm watching this dude. So if Loma could fight and he could turn back the hands of time, it would be a different fight. I think that Devin is good, because he's younger, because he's stronger. Does he have what it takes to keep Loma back, to wrap his ass up when Loma does get on the inside, right? He gets to that mid-range. He starts throwing combinations to the body like he likes to do. You know what I mean? Does Devin Haney have the ability to wrap him up? Will the referee allow him to do that? Because it's a lot of factors that you have to look at, looking at these two fighters. The Cambosos fight with Devin showed me everything I needed to know on how Devin would beat someone like Lomachenko. You know how Devin would beat someone like Lomachenko is the same way Floyd would beat Manny Pacquiao. Okay? That's how you do it. You don't go toe-to-toe with a guy like that. Manny was dangerous anyway because he hits a lot harder, than Loma. But then, it's the same principle. You stop the onslaught of someone doing the best at what they do. You stop them from doing that. You take the weapon away from them. That's what you do. You don't sit there and try to be better at them than they are with what they do. That's why I didn't understand what Devin was talking about. I'm like, dude, you're a boxer. Stick to boxing. Stick to your game plan. Stop trying to, I'm better than him and everything. No, you're not. You don't do everything. So looking at this, will Devin Haney be able to keep Lomachenko honest? Because Lomachenko does get to the point where he gets really aggressive. You see him going in there. You see him shuffling those feet. And you see him, using an upper body movement. And he starts doing those pivots. But then it's like, okay, will he be able to do that throughout that fight? Will he be able to pivot like he used to? Because I seen a slower one, a slower Loma. Yeah, he was still turning and pivoting and, you know what I mean, and switching angles and shit like that, but he wasn't doing it like I remember him doing it 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, it was a lot different then, So even at 3 years ago when he fought Teo, I'm not saying he was on the decline, but it did take him longer to get things going. And then you got to ask yourself, okay, did it take you that long because you were trying to figure Tio out because he was just that difficult to figure out? Or was it just you, having problems getting yourself in the zone, and doing what you normally do? Okay, so it's a lot of factors. But credit to Shakur Stevenson. He's like, I don't care who wins. I'll fight whoever wins. Because that's different from certain fighters go into the hoping game. They hope a certain fighter wins because they're only willing to fight one. That you see a lot of that shit in boxing too. It's like, okay, well, what happens if this guy wins versus the guy that you want to win? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different things you think about when you're dealing with fighters. But Shakur, I'm glad that he's hungry, and that's another fight. I've seen him and Devin, spar. So that would be a good matchup because, see, Shakur is going to press Devin. You know what I mean? And he's young. He has the youth. He has the skill. He has the speed to do it, the endurance. So that would be a way more competitive fight. Well, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be competitive because we haven't seen Loma and Devin yet. But, I've seen those guys spar. So we definitely seen what they were doing back then versus what they do, professionally. So either way, it's a win-win for the sport. You guys tell me what you think of Shakur Stevenson stating that Devin Haney smokes Lomachenko. Too small, of course. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.